Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Go Slow English. I am Zara, your host for today, and it is truly wonderful to have you here with us. Whether you are walking to work, sitting at home with a cup of tea, or just taking a quiet moment for yourself, we are so happy to be part of your day. And joining me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host, Leo. Hi, Leo. How are you feeling today?
Hello, Zara, and hello to all our listeners out there. I am doing very well today. Thank you for asking. Actually, I am feeling particularly relaxed this morning because I spent some time in my garden before coming to the studio. I have been trying to grow some lavender, and I finally saw the first little purple flowers starting to bloom. It was such a small thing, but it really made me smile. Do you have any plants at home, Zara, or are you more of a city person?
Oh, I love plants, Leo, but I must admit I do not have a very green thumb. I have a small cactus on my windowsill, and even that is a struggle for me to keep alive. I think I forget to water it, and then I water it too much to make up for it. It is a bit of a disaster, honestly. But I find it so interesting that you mentioned your lavender. It takes a lot of patience to watch something grow like that, doesn't it? You cannot force the flowers to come out any faster than they are ready. You just have to give them water, sunlight, and time.
That is so true, Zara. You really cannot rush nature. If I poured a whole gallon of water on that plant today, it wouldn't grow faster. It would probably just die. It needs just a little bit of care every single day. It's all about the process, not just the result. I find that very peaceful, actually. It's a nice break from how fast everything else in the world seems to move these days. Everyone wants everything right now, but the garden teaches you to wait.
I think that is a beautiful observation, Leo. And you know, that slow, steady growth reminds me exactly of what we talk about on this show. It's the perfect bridge to our main topic for today. Today, we are talking about how to learn English naturally, one step at a time. Just like your lavender, learning a language is not something you can rush. You cannot force your brain to understand everything in a single day. You have to give yourself the right environment, the right input, and most importantly, plenty of time to grow.
I love that analogy, Zara. Learn English naturally, one step at a time. It sounds so much more manageable when you put it that way. I think many of our listeners feel a lot of pressure to be perfect very quickly. They see videos online or advertisements that say you can learn a language in 30 days, and when they find it difficult, they feel like they are failing. But they aren't failing at all. They are just in the middle of the process. It takes time to build that foundation, one stone at a time, or one word at a time.
Exactly. When we say naturally, we mean learning the way we learned our first language as children. We didn't sit down with grammar books when we were 2 years old. We listened, we observed, we heard the same words used in many different contexts. We made a lot of mistakes, and nobody laughed at us. We just kept going. I remember when my nephew was learning to speak, he would say the word apple for every round fruit he saw. He called oranges apples, he called plums apples. He was making a mistake, but he was communicating. And eventually, he learned the difference. He took one step, then another.
That is a great story. It reminds me of a personal experience I had a few years ago. I was trying to learn Italian before a trip to Rome. I was so excited that I bought 5 different textbooks and 3 different apps. I told myself I would study for 3 hours every single night. I wanted to be fluent in 2 months. Well, Zara, can you guess what happened? After the first week, I was so tired and overwhelmed that I just stopped completely. I didn't look at my books for a month. I tried to take 10 steps at once, and I tripped and fell.
Wait, really? Even you, Leo? You are usually so organized. But I think we have all been there. We get that burst of energy and we think we can do it all at once. What did you do differently after that? How did you change your approach?
Well, I realized that 3 hours a day was impossible for me, so I changed my goal. I decided to do just 15 minutes of listening every morning while I made my coffee. Just 15 minutes. No pressure, no big grammar rules, just listening to the sounds of the language. It felt too easy at first, but because it was easy, I actually did it every day. By the time I went to Italy, I wasn't fluent, but I could understand the waiter and I could ask for directions. I felt so proud because those small steps actually led me somewhere.
That is the secret right there. Consistency is much more powerful than intensity. If you study for 10 hours one day and then do nothing for 2 weeks, you will forget most of what you learned. But if you listen to a podcast like this for 10 minutes every day, your brain starts to recognize patterns. It starts to get comfortable with the rhythm of the language. That is what we mean by one step at a time. It's about making English a natural part of your life, not a scary chore that you have to finish.
I see so many students who get frustrated with grammar. They want to know every rule before they start speaking. But natural learning is often the opposite. You hear a phrase, you use it, and then later you learn why it works that way. It's like learning to ride a bike. You don't read a book about physics and balance first. You get on the bike, you wobble a bit, and you find your balance through the doing. The grammar is the map, but the listening is the journey itself.
That is a wonderful way to put it. The listening is the journey. And that is why we keep our pace very slow here at Go Slow English. We want to give your brain the space it needs to absorb the words. We want you to feel the flow of the conversation. When you listen to us, you are taking a step. You are training your ears. You are becoming familiar with the sounds. And that is enough for today. You don't need to memorize every word we say. You just need to show up and listen.
I agree completely. And for those listening who feel like they are not making progress, I want to say, look back at where you were a month ago. Even if you only know 5 more words than you did then, you are moving forward. Every time you understand a sentence without checking a dictionary, that is a victory. Those small victories add up to big changes over time. Just like my lavender flowers. They didn't appear overnight, but they are here now because I didn't give up on them.
I love that. We should all be a little more like gardeners with our language learning. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself when you make a mistake. Mistakes are just a sign that you are trying to grow. If you keep taking these small steps, one day you will look back and be amazed at how far you have walked. It really is about the journey, not just the destination. Thank you so much for joining us today on Go Slow English. We hope this conversation was helpful and that it gave you a bit of encouragement for your own language journey. Remember, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to keep going. We will be back soon with more stories and more slow English for you to enjoy. Until then, take care of yourself, enjoy your learning, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye for now.